Namaste. Welcome to the class. In the previous class, we have seen how the ray of light undergoes refraction through a prism, angle of deviation, that graph, as the angle of deviation is increased, as the angle of incidence is increased, deviation decreasing, reaching a minimum value and all. It's a very long derivation, but only one part of that derivation will be asked for the exam. So you need not worry, such a long derivation, what to do, explanation and all. But few sentences you have to write. So I am not going to do the derivation once again. Let us recap the formulas that we have got in the problem. And you take a pen and a paper, go on scribbling again. So that is a must in each and every class. You have to scribble everything, otherwise it is of no use, right? So this is the base of the prism, you know, and this is the diagram we are going to draw again, ABC. ABC is the principal section of the prism. The prism is like this and you have cut it like this and you have got the one face of the prism. And A is the angle of the prism, right? And a ray of light is incident like this. Keep on writing this. Don't be lazy. Okay, this is the best opportunity to learn very slowly and keep enough time once after the classes start. If you have enough deposit of time, then you can learn entrance exam questions and all. Otherwise, if you are keeping idly like this now, then it won't serve any purpose. Finally, you will be in a hurry once the classes start. Okay, and this ray of light, if this is the normal, bends away from the normal, towards the normal, because it was moving like this. That was the original direction. And finally, again here is a normal. It bends away from the normal, denser to rarer, so it moves like this. So naming all the angles. What are the angles? Angle of incidence, angle of emergence, normal and emerging ray, refracted ray and normal, first refraction. If you put the ray of light like this, then it will move like this. Second angle of refraction, R2. So R1, R2 and everything. So this original direction and final direction. If you move this backwards, that final direction of ray of light like this, which was moving like this, then this is the angle of deviation, delta, right? You know the relation between them. This angle of the prism, A equal to R1 plus R2, one equation, and this delta is equal to I plus E minus this R1 plus R2, that is A. Delta is equal to I plus E minus A. This total will be greater than delta, so you remove A from it. Delta is equal to I plus E minus A. And what else? Okay, and you know the graph, as the angle of incidence is increased, delta keeps on decreasing, reaches a minimum value and then increases. So at this position, this is called angle of minimum deviation, dm. Now I and E are same. For any other angle of deviation, you have I and you have an E. So this angle of deviation, particularly this one, is obtained for two angles of incidence. Either it is I or E. Suppose this is 30, I will recap the same numericals. If this is 30, then the deviation is say 15 degree. If this is 50, like this way here, written one, then again the deviation is 15. So there is no difference. So there are two angles of incidence, and for this one minimum angle of deviation, there is only one angle, because both of them become equal. So when delta is equal to dm, minimum angle of deviation, we have I is equal to E, which can be taken as I, and R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R, because these two become equal. Then what you will get? I is equal to A plus dm by 2. Of course, I don't write it because A here. Okay, you can rearrange this. Put I equal to E equal to I, 2I minus A. This one becomes A plus delta dm, then by 2. Then R becomes equal to A by 2. Then the final formula, that is N is equal to N21, refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, sin A plus dm by 2 by sin A by 2. Right? This is the formula that we have got. So refractive index of the material of the prism, I'll write it here, N21 with respect to the surrounding medium, sin A plus dm by 2 by sin A by 2. Okay. Now, next my aim is to have a prism, this is a very difficult task. For example, if you want to see what is the amount of deviation, what is the angle of refraction and all, you must go for mathematical calculation. Without calculation, I must be able to get the answer very easily. So people usually use very thin prism. What do you mean by thin prism? Angle of the prism is angle made by the two refracting faces. If this angle is less than 10 degree, then such a prism is called thin prism. A thin prism is one whose refracting angle A is very, very small, less than 10 degrees. So such a prism is called thin prism. So he may be asked to write the definition. What is a thin prism? Thin prism is one whose refracting angle is less than 10 degrees. Now for such a thin prism, you can go for one thing. When theta is small, you know it, right? When theta is small, sin theta is almost equal to theta. So for thin prism, what you can write? Suppose this is a very thin prism like this. This angle is very small. Then the angle of deviation, angle of refraction, everything will be very small. Then the deviation will not be so much. You will get the dispersed ray even in the direction of incident light. Almost, okay, there is no much bending. It will be obtained very close to the incident light. Then I, E, R, everything, angle of incidence, angle of refraction, everything will be very small. For thin prisms, can I write sin theta almost equal to theta? This sin I almost equal to I, sin R almost equal to R, R is A by 2. So what does n to 1 become? This equation. Sin A plus dm by 2 almost equal to A plus dm by 2 divided by sin A by 2 almost equal to A by 2, right? Now that is equal to, now, so I am trying to get an equation for deviation of thin prism. It becomes easier for me to calculate the values. Okay. Now you take A by 2 outside the bracket here. A by 2. Of course 2 you can cancel, you can do it very easily. I will follow the same NCERT method. A by 2 outside the bracket. If you want to take A by 2 outside, this is 1, correct? This is A by 2. And here you have dm by 2. So what is left with the plus dm by A, right? Am I right? You bring this inside, will you get the numerator? A by 2 into 1, A by 2. Next one is dm by 2. A by 2 into dm by A. Yes, A gets cancelled. Dm by 2 will remain. Divided by A by 2. Why did you take A by 2 outside? Because I want to cancel it with this one. And there is a sign here, there is a sign here. But sin theta is almost equal to theta. Only provided this is very small. The prism angle is small. Dm is very small. Okay. Now n to 1. Refractive index of the prism with respect to surrounding medium. 1 plus dm by A. That implies, bring minus 1. 1 here, it becomes minus 1. N to 1 minus 1 is equal to dm by A. What is dm is equal to? Dm, angle of minimum deviation in a thin prism, is A into n to 1 minus 1. This is the equation for the angle of deviation of a thin prism. This may be asked for the exam. Obtain, what is a thin prism? Obtain an expression for deviation of a thin prism. Thin prism is one whose refracting angle is very less and even less than 10 degrees. For such a prism, angle of incidence, emergence, refraction, everything will be very small. And you know the formula for refractive index of the prism. It is the sin A plus dm by 2 by sin A by 2. And which can be put in the form, even sin theta is when it is almost equal to theta, can be put in this form. Then take A by 2 outside, A by 2 gets cancelled, you will remain with this one, finally this one. So this is the deviation for thin prism. Now, that's all the derivation. But if you analyze it, there is something to see here. Now first of all, why does refraction occur? Or dispersion? What do you mean by dispersion? First of all, you have studied in your lower classes. When a ray of light passes through a prism, all the colors bend to different angles and you get different colors in different positions. That is called dispersion. The splitting of different colors present in a beam of white light or composite light. Composite means which contains all the colors. So the splitting of different colors present in a beam of white light is called dispersion. What the different colors you get, a set of different colors you get, that is called spectrum. The spectrum is a set of different colors obtained during dispersion. Now why does dispersion occur? Very simple. If it is asked for the exam. Of course, it's not a very important question because you must know it. Dispersion occurs for this particular reason. All the colors have the same velocity inside a prism. Inside a prism, all the colors have the same speed. But once they enter the prism, different colors will have different speed. The one, this is the original direction, the one which has got the most speed will be keeping itself very close to the original direction. What is that one? Red. Red travels with most speed and it bends least. Am I right? And what about violet? Violet travels with the least speed and it bends most. This is what happens. So shall I write this as, this is the deviation for red color and this is the deviation for violet color. So violet bends more and red bends least. So for violet, speed is least and deviation is most. I think you can see this, right? What is written in the purple color, violet color, sorry. Then what about this one? Red travels with the most speed. Of course, speed is most and the deviation is least. It is as very simple as, suppose you are moving in a straight road. If you are driving a car, you will move the car in a higher speed, because if it is a straight road, no problem. There is no problem about centripetal force. There is no requirement of centripetal force and friction. You get enough amount and you move faster. Suppose you come across suddenly a turn. If it is a small curve, you will cut down the speed to a small extent. If it is a deep curve, you will slow down the vehicle to a large amount. Because if it is a deep curve, you need more centripetal force, and if no much friction is available, you will be thrown away. So, more the bending, lesser will be the speed. Lesser the bending, more will be the speed. So, you can communicate with that type of driving activity. So, the color which travels with the most speed travels, bends least. The color which travels with the least speed bends most. And remember, refractive index of, suppose this is air, refractive index of air is 1, or vacuum, very close to vacuum value. What about this inside the prism? It is different. Say it is glass, some type of glass which has refractive index 1.5. As soon as the ray of light enters the glass, you ask the different colors. Do you have the same speed? No, sir. We are traveling with different speed. That's why we have bent to different angles. And this is the spectrum. And yellow will be somewhere in the middle. Yellow will be always having almost average wavelength of all. It will be somewhere in the middle. So you will have different colors at different positions. And violet bends most with the least speed. And red bends least with the most speed. Suppose you had one color, this is not possible. Suppose you had one color which was traveling with the same speed as in air. It would have traveled straight, right? Without changing the speed, it should have traveled straight without any deviation also. But you don't have such color which travels even inside the medium with the same speed as in air. That's not possible. Okay, now my question is, in what angle all these colors are seen? See, every prism must be chosen with its the capacity of dispersing the colors. The colors must be seen in a particular angle. So if you observe the whole spectrum from here, you will see red here, violet here, and all the other colors, blue, green, yellow, orange, red and all in between. So in this angle you will see. What is that angle? So this is deviation for violet and this is deviation for red. So that is called angular dispersion. Angular, of course this is not in theory. Please do remember that this is not in theory. Angular dispersion is equal to dV minus dr, and always it is not defined only for this violet and red. You can define it for yellow and blue. At what angle you can see yellow and blue, at what angle you can see blue and green and all. So angular dispersion between any two colors is the difference in the deviation. Sir, why it is so? For example, violet from the original direction, say it is bent by 50 degrees. Red from the original direction, say it is bent by 30 degrees. At what angle you will see red and violet? Red is bent by 30 degree from the original direction. Violet is bent from the original direction by 50 degrees. At what angle you see the spectrum? That is 50 minus 30. Is it 20? So angular dispersion. It is the difference in the deviation of the two colors. What is the deviation for violet? What is the deviation for red? Get the difference. Or what is the deviation for blue? What is the deviation for yellow? Get the difference. At what angle yellow and blue are seen? That is the angular dispersion. Now, regarding refractive index, these are all the knowledge-based explanations, and you need not write it in the exam, and it will not be asked. And that is not in the examination also. You will have only the derivation of thin prism, deviation for thin prism. But you must know this. Now, as soon as the rays of light enter the medium, now usually we write refractive index of a medium, 1.5, say N, refractive index of glass, or N2. Sir, what is N2? N2 is velocity of light in the medium, air divided by velocity of light in the medium. It is the ratio of, so here is air, right? N2A. We don't write the second medium here, air, or first medium, air. Refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. Nothing is written means it is air. Is the ratio of velocity of light in air to the velocity of light in the medium. Okay. We write it as 1.5, 1.33 and all. Now you ask the red color. What is the refractive index of that medium in which you have entered now? You have separated from violet. You were together with violet in air. Now you have entered a medium and you have traveled faster. That's why you have bent lesser than violet. What is the refractive index of that medium that you were traveling red color? If you ask red color will say, sir, refractive index of that medium, say second medium, is velocity of light in air, my velocity in air divided by my velocity in the medium, velocity of the red color in the medium, red in medium. Okay, that means say glass. You ask, so I will write refractive index of that medium with respect to red color. You ask violet color. Refractive index of the same medium with respect to violet color. Violet color will say, sir, refractive index of that medium is my velocity in air, that is C, all colors travel at the same speed, divided by my velocity, that is velocity of violet in the medium. Now question is, will you get the same answer if you by referring violet and red color? Will the refractive index of this medium same with respect to violet and red color? Never, because red color will travel faster than violet. So this refractive index with respect to red color for this medium, calculated with respect to red color for this medium, is more than refractive index of the same medium with respect to violet color. This is less, because violet travels, this is less because refractive index of this medium will be less if you ask red color, because red travels with the most speed. Speed is most, bending is less. What about the refractive index of the same medium with respect to violet color? Violet travels with least speed, so refractive index is most. So, if you try to calculate the refractive index of any medium by asking different colors, you will get different refractive indices. Usually we define velocity of light in one medium to the velocity of light in another medium, then it is the refractive index of that medium. But which color? Different colors travel with different velocity inside the medium. And actually it is the average value with respect to yellow, I can say. It is the average value of refractive index what we have written. So if you go on asking color by color, then the refractive indexes will be different. But one thing you have to remember, which color will give the refractive index of this medium as a highest value and which color will give you the least value. That depends on speed. So three things you have to consider here. One, when a color enters a medium, what is its speed? What is its deviation? What is the refractive index of the medium with respect to that color? So when any color travels into a medium, say red color, we will take the two extreme colors. Red color enters into a medium, its speed is highest and its angle of deviation is least. Since its speed is highest, speed comes in the denominator for refractive index formula. Since the speed is highest, refractive index is least for red. For red color, the refractive index of this medium is least. Taking violet into picture now. Violet travels with the least speed, So refractive index is most and bending is most, right? So what is the reason for dispersion? Very simple. When a ray of light travels from air to any medium, the velocity of different colors in the medium are different. Hence the refractive index of the medium is different for different colors. So different colors bend to different angles. So we get different colors in different positions. Hence the dispersion occurs. Very simple explanation. You will have so many differences in the answer. When a ray of light, white light, travels in air, all colors travel at the same speed. But as soon as they enter the prism, different colors will have different velocity. That's why different colors will have different refractive indices. Because of different velocity, different colors will bend to different angles, and we get the dispersion because colors are seen at different positions. That is the reason for dispersion. But this relation, more velocity, red for example, more velocity, least deviation, and more least refractive index. Violet, least velocity, most refractive index, most bending. This should be very important for extreme colors. And for entrance exam you have one more term called, and you should have a formula for this angular dispersion, dispersive power you have. I don't deal with all those things. You can be firm with all these things, then move on to those entrance exam extra terms that are needed. But without this, any firm base, don't move forward. So this is how we use thin prism. Most of the scientists use thin prism so that they will get the angle of deviation very easily. And here that doesn't depend on the angle of incidence, right? Angle of the minimum deviation for a thin prism doesn't depend on the angle of incidence. No angle of incidence, no angle of refraction. Whatever be the angle of incidence, angle of deviation will be almost same. There won't be much different. Okay, now in this context about prism and thin prism, we will move on to a problem. You just write that problem, a ray of light, and be ready with calculator and log book. You have a book like this, might have seen, forgotten. There's a very small book called Clark's Table. Bring that book and we will solve that problem. So just try to write the problem. A ray of light is incident at an angle of 40 degrees on one face of a prism, emerges from the opposite face at an angle of 50 degrees. Refractive index of the material of the prism is 1.6. Find the angle of the prism and angle of deviation. Okay, that is the question. Write it once. You write it in your paper, then we will work it out. A ray of light incident at an angle of 40 degrees on one face of a prism emerges from the opposite face at an angle of 50 degrees. Refractive, find, I have to write, right? Find the refractive index of, refractive index of the material of the prism is 1.6. Find the angle of the prism and angle of deviation. Shall we start? Hope you have finished. Right, we will finish that problem first. Okay. Right, we will have a set of values first. We will list the values, or we will put it in a diagram form. Hope you can see this. A ray of light is incident, so that it will be a revision of what we have studied. It is the original direction, this is the final direction. Okay, it's like this. This is the angle of deviation, and here is angle of incidence, angle of refraction 1. And remember whether this is see the problem whether it is a a problem of minimum deviation or not. Even in the problems, in the prisms, you must first decide whether you have to use minimum deviation formula or deviation, something else deviation, because you have a formula like this, you see, set of formulas. This formula n21 is only for minimum deviation, not for some other angle of deviation. This is only for minimum angle. Sine a plus dm by 2 by sine a by 2. This is only minimum deviation position only. This is only this for this position, for minimum deviation position only. Otherwise, you have to write A is equal to R1 plus R2 and delta is equal to I1 plus, I plus E minus A. That is the formula. And you have N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. This one, that you know. Okay? Now, we will list the values. What are the values? Incident at an angle of 40 degrees. I is given. One face of a prism and emerges in the opposite face at an angle of 50 degrees. Angle of emergence. Refractive index of the material of the prism is n 50 degree. 1.6. And what about the other medium? Nothing is mentioned, so it should be R. If it is not mentioned, automatically it is R. Find the angle of the prism and angle of deviation. You see, it is not angle of minimum deviation, it is angle of deviation, delta. Correct? So what is the delta value and what is the angle of the prism? That is a question mark. So since it is not minimum deviation position, you are not supposed to use that formula sin A plus dm by 2 sin by sin A by 2. That is not for other angles of deviation, general angles of deviation. That is only when angle of incidence and emergence are same, R1 equal to R2. But here it is not so, I and E are not same, so you cannot use that for conclusion. Okay, now, so how can we solve this? I is given, E is given, N is given. Okay, shall I draw a diagram once again here? I will put all the values here and I will restrict my explanation within the board here. This one is 40. Better you have this diagram. This is 50 and this is question mark and this is 1.6. Okay. And this is R1, this is R2. R1 and R2 are the angles of refractions. Okay. Now, angle of the prism is a question mark. Unless you get R1 and R2, you can't calculate A. So you should get this one and then A. Okay. And the angle of deviation, for angle of deviation, you should have I, E and A, all. Okay. Now, we will use this general of refraction or Snell's law. N1 sin I, N2 sin R. Now only one missing. This is 1 R because nothing is told in the problem. So automatically it is R. 1 sin I is equal to 1.6 sin R1. R1 is missing. Similarly here, this is also R. Refractive index is 1. So 1 sin 50, 1.6 sin R2. N1 sin I, N2 sin R. Okay, shall we apply this? I think you can use this part of the board, right? You can use this part of the board. So, okay, N1, I think you can use this. N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. Since nothing is told about the outside medium, it should be R. 1 sin 40 is equal to 1.6 sin R1. Okay, 1 sin 40 is equal to 1.6 sin R1. Right. Now, okay. We will finish this calculation. Take your calculator and logbook with you. 1 point, and don't say that I don't have a logbook at all. The shops are open. You can buy it from any bookshop that is available, or you can download the things from Google or so, because tables are available there. Don't say that I don't have anything else. We have so many gadgets. At least in one gadget it is available. Everything is free now. Okay. Sin R1. What is sin R1? Is equal to sin 40 divided by 1.6. So now sin R1 is equal to by 1.6. So what is sine 40? Open your logbook, see what is sine 40. Don't look at into the this one, your mobile or so. I will see sine 40 value in Puttur, okay? Let me see what is its value. You see your logbook in your home. Is it the same? Sine 40. Natural science you have to get. In natural science you have to get sine 40. And in my book it is written 0.6428. 0.6428 is the answer. So 0.6428. You see, sine 30 is half, right? Half means 0.5. Sine 40 is greater than this. So 0.5. Greater than 0.5. 0.6428 is the sine 40 value. Okay? That is equal to, this is sine R1. What is 0.6428 divided by 1.6? 0.6428 divided by 1.6. 0.4017 I'll write. 0.4017. What is R1? R1 is, you know how the method to write this one. Sine inverse of 0.4017. What is this here? R1 is equal to. You have to go in search of this number in the sine table. 0.4017 and nearest number to that. That is enough. 0.40. And it should be more than 30 degree again. No, less than 30 degree because sine 30 is 0.5. If it is 0.4, it should be less than 30 degrees. So search somewhere at 0.4017. You will have 0.4, 0.42, 0.41, 0.4067 you have at 24 degree. Do you have any number lesser than that? Yes, you have. 0.4003 you have. 0.4003. Of course, 0 point is not available in all the table. What is it? Columns and rows. 0 point is written only in the first column. So you have to assign it to all the numbers. 0 point. So it is in 23 degree. 0.4003. 23 degree. 0.6 degree. Right? In a 23 degree column, and here 0.6 degree means it is 36 minutes, right? In 36 minutes you have a number 0.40 23 degree, sorry, yeah, 23 degree 0.60, 0.4003. That is enough for us. 0.4003. Or shall we have a number greater than this? Yes, it is possible. It is 0.4017, right? You have 15. 0.4015 you have. That is not 15. 19 you have. That is better, I think. That is the closest number. Next, in the next column, that is in 0.7 degrees. So this is enough. 0.7 degrees. That is 42 minutes, correct? 42 minutes column. You have 0.4019. Am I right? 0.4019 is found in the 23 degree column and row and 0.7 degree column. Yes, 0.4019. This is, so what is R1? Sine inverse of this. So you have to write these values. 23.7 degrees. R1. So we have got R1. Similarly R2. Apply the general law of refraction. You can see this diagram, right? Sine R2. You have to apply general law of refraction again back in this one. 1 sine 50 is equal to 1.6 sine R2. Am I right? The refractive index into sine of the angle. Refractive index into sine of the angle. That product should be same everywhere. So shall we write it that? That is 1 r sine 50 is equal to 1.6 sine R2. Okay. Now, what is sine R2? Sine R2 is equal to sine 50 divided by 1.6. Am I right? Okay. Sine 50 divided by 1.6. Okay, that implies, I write sine R2 first is equal to sine 50 divided by 1.6. What is sine 50? Again, natural science. In natural science, 50 degree, no minutes. On the first column itself, sine 50, 50 degree will be in the next page. it is 0.7660, right? 50 degree 0 minutes. You should be in the natural science column. You see whether your page is natural science or logarithmic science. It should be natural science. So 0.7660, 0.7660, correct? So what is this answer? That is equal to, so R2 is equal to sine inverse of, you're right, what is this one? 0.7660 divided by 1.6. It will be equal to 0.4787. Wait, right. 0.4787. I'll write only that much because 4 numbers are enough for me. Or 88 you can write, no problem. You won't get much different answer. 0.4787. That is R2, this division. Okay. Now you have to get the sine inverse of this. That implies R2 is equal to, search for 0.4787 in the sine table. 0.4787. Oh, you have the same number. 0.4787. Same number, it is in 28 degrees 0.6 degrees. So 28.6 degrees. This is in this one, R2. Okay? 28.6 degrees. 28 degree row and 0.6 degree column. 0.4787. Same number you have. If there is no such number, you go to the nearest one. That is enough. Okay, 28.6 degrees. Yes, correct. Now we will go for the rest of the things. You have got R1, R2 by applying general law of refraction on either side. I'll list the values of R1 and R2 here. So A and delta are the question marks now. So we have the formulas here. A is equal to R1 plus R2, and R1 is 23.7 degrees and R2 is 28.6 degrees. Okay, now what is A? A is equal to R1 plus R2, that is equal to 23.7 plus 28.6, 23.7 degree plus 28.6 degrees, that is equal to 13 here, and 1 remaining, this is 11, 12, 1 remaining, sorry, 12, 5, 52.28 plus 23 is 51, 0.7 plus 0.6 is 1.3, 52.3 degrees. This is the angle of the prism. Now, what is the angle of deviation? Delta is equal to I plus E minus A. What is this? I is 40, here we have, E is 50 minus A, that is 52.3. So that is equal to all degrees, that is equal to 90 minus 52.3 degree, that is equal to, suppose you subtract 52 from 90, it is somewhat like 38 degrees, right? Yeah, 38, but there is a point here, 37.7 degrees. Am I right? It's not 38, 0.3 is here, so 0.7 less. If you add this, 10, yes, 37 point. This is the angle of deviation. So there is no shortcut method here. You have to go for the full calculation, and you have to do that in the same way, right? 37.7 degrees, right? Shall we? Okay. So see the method, and you should be very good in using logbook. Now we will see one more problem of the similar type. You can take it down. A prism made up of material of refractive index 1.414 is immersed in water. Refractive index of water is 4/3. Okay, you can take it down. A ray of light incident through water on one face of the prism retraces its path after getting reflected from silvered opposite face. What is the angle of incidence? Okay, take down the problem. A ray of light, a prism is made up of material of refractive index 1.414. It is immersed in water. A ray of light is incident through water on the prism, and don't know what is the angle of incidence. That is the question. It retraces its path. That means it returns the path after being reflected from the opposite face. It is silvered opposite face. What is the angle of incidence on the first face? You can add that also. What is the angle of incidence on the first face? Yes. Okay. So if you analyze this problem, it is like this. If a light has to retrace the path after being incident on any mirror, silvered face, this face is silvered, say. This is water of refractive index 4/3, and this is the prism medium of refractive index 1.414. A ray of light incident, if it has to retrace the path, suppose it has to be incident normally on the face, right? Without normal incidence, suppose you take a mirror like this, a ray of light will reflect back from the mirror in the same path but in the opposite direction, only when it is incident normally. Angle of incidence 0, angle of refraction is also 0, because normally incidence is always along the normal. So angle with respect to normal is 0. It is possible when the ray of light is incident normally like this. It will return back normally like this. So I is 0, R is 0. That means what is this angle? That is their question. What is the angle of incidence in the first phase? This one, such that this is say R1. What is R2? It moves like this and comes back. Suppose this silvered face is absent. Imagine that there is no silvered face. What would have happened to this ray? It would have moved straight like this. Am I right? If there was no silvered face, the ray would have moved straight. What is the angle of incidence and emergence now? Usually we write in a prism angle of incidence, emergence, refraction, R1, R2. Since this is along the normal itself, R1 is 0. Shall I write it as 0? Along the normal. What is E? E is 0. Angle of emergence is also 0. This is the angle of the prism. Okay? Now, the question is, your job is to find out I. Of course, in a prism, always the one which helps is Snell's law. N1 sin I, N2 sin R, right? But here two unknowns, N1 sin I unknown, N2 sin R, R1 unknown. How to get R1? You have a connection between all these things now, and angle of the prism is not given. Made up of material of, a prism is made up of some material. Say angle is given, say. Angle should be given, otherwise it is not possible. You can't solve this. Say A is equal to 60 degrees. If A is equal to 60 degrees, otherwise this problem is incomplete, right? What is the angle of incidence if the angle of the prism is 60 degrees? That has to be given, otherwise it is not possible. So A is 60, say. This is 60. So for a 60 degree prism kept in water, silvered on the opposite face, what should be the angle of incidence in the first phase so that it retraces the path? Here angle of refraction is 0. That means incidence. Since it is silvered, it retraces. If it is not silvered, it would have come out with the same angle of emergence, that is normal refraction, no deviation. So now what to do with the problem? Okay, we will first of all find out R1. Once you get R1, 1 sin I is equal to 1 N2 sin R. That you can write. But these three, you know, the relation between these three. Angle of the prism, shall I write here? Angle of the prism A is equal to R1 plus R2. Of course, R1 is this one, R2 is 0. Sorry, this one is 0, R2. Okay. Here the normal and the ray of light are in the same path, so R2 is 0. Okay. Right. A is equal to R1 plus R2. What is A? A is 60. R1 is R1 plus R2 is 0. So only, since this is 0, only R1 should take the responsibility of the full angle. R1 is 60. Now apply the general law, Snell's law. What does Snell's law say? N1 4/3 sin I is equal to N2 1.414 here, 1.414 sine 60. Am I right? R1 is 60. So 4 by 3 sine I is equal to 1.414 sine R1. R1 is 60, sine 60. So here we get I. So what is sine I? Sine I is equal to 1.414 into root 3 by 2 into this one 3, this 4 comes to the denominator, 3 by 4. So what is the answer of this? We will calculate it. Okay, you can take root 3 as 1.732. 1.414 into 1.732 into 3 divided by 8. Yes. What the answer you get here? 1.414 into 1.732 into 3 divided by 8. That is equal to 0.918. So sine I is equal to 0.9183 or 4. 39 it is. So again I will check it, see whether you get the same answer. 1.414 into 1.732, which is root 3, 1.732 into 3 divided by 8. 0.911839, that is 9184. What is I? Does it mean I is equal to sine inverse of 0.9184. So you have to search for 0.9184, then you will get I. In the natural science column or page, 0.9184 lies in which row and which column? You will get 0.91, 9107, 9184 you want. You have very close number. Yeah, you have the same number, 0.9184. Otherwise you go to the closest number. 0.9184 is seen in, so you have 0.9184, this number in it is in 66 degrees and 0.7 degrees column. 66 degrees row, it is 66 degrees and 0.7 degree column. Is it so? In my log table it is so. In all the log tables it will be the same. 0.9184 is found in almost 66 degrees and 42 minutes, that means 0.7 degrees. So shall I write it as 66.7 degree. So this is the angle of incidence. So the ray of light must be incident at that angle such that after refraction it should fall on the opposite face, which is silver, and get retraced in the same path, and it comes back since it is silver. Otherwise it will move normally to the other face. So this problem may be framed in the other way also. You can put it in this way also. A ray of light incident in water such that after refraction the ray passes normally through the other face. If it is not silver, it passes normally through the other face. What is the angle of incidence if this has to happen? If it is not 62 degrees or 66 degrees, the ray may be reflected in some other path. Remember, if the ray of light is incident at some other angle like this, it might have moved like this. Of course it might have reflected, but it might have reflected in some other path. That is also possible. So since it is incident at exactly that angle, it retraces the path. That is the solution. So you will have to club reflection, refraction, everything, general law, Snell's law, prism formula, everything. See, we have got prism formula here, A is equal to R1 plus R2. In that part only we have used prism formula. Everything is other refraction. Nothing else is needed. Simple problem, but you will have to see such varieties of little problems like 2 or 3 problems. Then you will get the idea of solving different types of problems. Okay, keep on working out problems of similar type, because this is not the end. We will have to go for still more problems. So hope you have followed this. Hope you will carry on with these problems. Today for the timing we will end up with this problem. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.